Hello, everyone. Welcome to our annual The Harvest Moon drawing class. The Harvest Moon. It's so specific and such an auspicious time of the year. And I will talk a little bit about it. And I will, of course, introduce myself again for those who do not know me. And then we'll dive into our drawing. So I'm Alina Smolyansky, a certified instructor of NeuroGraphica. I'm also an artist. And I welcome everyone to my YouTube channel. I also those who would like to join our group, also a study group. I have a Facebook group, and my courses are available online. Today we're getting close to the harvest moon. And the first, if you know, the full moon, 3 days before and 3 days after are most effective. But even if you're watching this tutorial sometime later, not maybe around any full moon or about any time that you would like to practice, to use this practice, no problem. You're welcome to practice it. It's very much depends not so much the position of the sky or the stars, but your intention. If you feel it the right moment to practice this, please do. It's all about intention. So, and I will emphasize more and more that what we do in NeuroGraphica, it's not only about or any other practice, not only NeuroGraphica, there are many other techniques that it has to be to achieve what we want. It has to be a combination of our thinking, our conscious mind, and the heart, our feeling. Without this combination, it's like there will be no result, like as no results, like male and female. The mind is associated with a male. It's a conscious thinking, and of course, the power is in the feeling in the heart, so-called heart. You may call it subconscious mind or conscious mind, but we mean the same thing. It's a feeling, and that's what the driving force behind everything. And with this, let's start about our today's drawing, which is dedicated to the harvest moon, the full moon, and that's the moon the closest to the September equinox, autumnal equinox, with a day almost equal night. And we just experienced it in officially the start of the fall on the 22nd of September. And the full moon this year, 2023, falls on the 29th of September. So today is 26th, and we will 3 days before. Problem that it's almost full moon in the sky. If you're lucky enough, if your sky is clear, you can see almost full moon. I'm sorry, I'm talking for those who are in the southern hemisphere. It's probably for you the spring equinox, but you can adjust your practice accordingly. The harvest moon received its name from the time, agricultural time, with people depended so much on condition and position of the sky, and what allowed them, why they called the harvest moon, as according to the legend, it's the longest duration of the moonlight at night, that the nights were so light and so long that allowed them to catch up if they needed to harvest something. It's the time of harvesting, harvesting what we put in the soil, the seeds that we planted more than half a year and half a year in advance. And of course, after summertime, when it's time to ripen, and now we're gathering harvest. So that's the main idea of our drawing class today. If you think about your activities, considering that also equinox time, day equal night, it's like the time of equilibrium. It's time to think about our results, achievements, and continue with the next cycle, half a year cycle, until next equinox in the 6 months later. And as we're in northern hemisphere, as we're shifting to the period of the sun declining and winter, it's a time of contemplation and preparation for the next season. So in our life, again, we're celebrating the cyclical nature in our life. We're harvesting the results of our actions. We're taking into consideration, and we're also able to prepare in advance the next time. So that's what spiritual significance of the harvest moon. I assume that many of you know the neurographic line. I will not delve into NeuroGraphica in Neurographic Art. All we need to know is just what the neurographic line and the principle of rounding. So also with the idea about harvest and what we reap the results, but we also have to consider what we let go. We collect something, but we also something that's finished, we need to process and let it go. And probably thinking and acknowledging it is the best time to let something go. In general, full moons bring about release and transformation. It's a very powerful, emotionally charged period. And if you're prone to headaches, that probably emphasize your headaches, and be careful about, be gentle with yourself in this 6 days, 3 days before the full moon and after, because it's really emotional time. So be gentle with yourself. In terms of releasing something, letting go, it's also a good time for contemplation, gathering a vision. And those who joined my Neuro Blueprint program, it's also a good time preparation or thinking about our vision board and our action board. Let's think about just preparation before we start drawing, before I switch my camera. And while I'm switching it, it takes a couple of seconds. So, and with this, think about a few experiences, events that you want to, let's say, metaphorically harvest, to take into consideration, to think about, especially those actions that were as a result of your thinking and ideas this year, since the beginning of year, 6-7 months. And it's something that allowed you to ripen during summertime and something you so-called harvest. Okay? And with this, I will switch to my drawing camera. Fall colors, you're welcome to choose any color you want. I prefer, like I have this, I've been drawing with the blue markers, and I will continue with blue markers now. And I have in my mind a few, something I started 6 months ago, and something I finished, and something I want to say to gather energy and say a farewell at the harvest and reap my experience. So, and as if related to the moon, I would like to think about something like the moon, something round. I position it in the middle. It's like the area, vessel that I'm getting energy. If you have a compass, you can just draw a circle. If you have something round, you can draw round. And I will, okay, let's say I will round, and I will just draw a circle. That will a symbol of my moon, of my gathering energy. That's the symbol of moon, and I'm gathering my emotional energy to it. And I invite you to think about some experiences that you're almost completed, and you want to process and gather energy from them. They may be positive, so-called negative, or in any ways, they are experiences that learning experience, not negative, but learning experiences. The energy, very important. It depends how you view it. Probably the main ones for me, I was involved in mentorship program, and I started it half a year ago, like 6 months, and I decided, and there was something didn't work out, and I would like to process it. So you understand, I did this exercise mentally in my mind when I was preparing for this course. I had this idea, and I walked in nature and thinking about it, and I did the drawing in my mind. And I released so much energy that now when I'm thinking about it, I'm quite comfortable. But for your benefits, I will repeat this experience again. So think about it. There was, at some point, it was a challenging experience for me. I'm very thankful to the company. It's nothing to do with the direction I was heading. It's nothing to do with instructors, but I was with my personal coach that was from this program. It was a misunderstanding. It wasn't a happy match from the very beginning, and it was a misunderstanding. I don't blame anyone, but that what happened happened, and as a result, I had some really. It was a good experience because I realized something. But nonetheless, when I found that was recently a video from that mentorship program popped up in my YouTube feed, I felt uncomfortable, whether it was anger or irritation or frustration, I don't know. It was a mixed feeling. We wasn't, we wouldn't call it a positive feeling. And I'd like to, and how it was, it was a big one. Okay, like this. Oh, I feel it's still acting on me because it's bigger than I and intended with my hand. Okay? Another one experience that I would like to say, to acknowledge and to experience, get my benefits is my trip to Iceland. I booked it over half a year in advance, and I was looking forward to it so much. It was my stopover on the way from Europe, and I was dreaming so much in that trip to Iceland before. I have been flying to Iceland from 2016 to Europe, through Iceland to Europe. And I always wanted to make it stop over and experience that magic place. And finally, this year, I was able to afford it, all that. And that was also a symbol of my freedom, my ability to allow myself to, symbol of my financial freedom, I would say like this. But the experience itself wasn't great. I wasn't jumping up and down. It was okay. It was okay. Let's just see it like this. So I will use it. And another one, very important, is I would like to say, farewell to my identity. As many of you know, those who watching this, that I'm starting a new program, the Neuro Blueprint, and we will be dealing with the self-image, crafting a new self-image. Okay, so my next one is my identity. I was trying to get my identity. Whatever served me, it changed about some shift was to happen the last February, but now I realize that whatever I want to achieve, this identity doesn't serve me, and that's what didn't happen in my mentorship program. That's probably I was not able to accomplish that shift in my identity, self-identity. It's like quantum leap, something that would allow me to accomplish much more than I'm practicing. So, and I would like to acknowledge that self-identity that served me until now, and that allowed me like a stepping stone to approach, and I will just draw it here. I still have some feelings about it. And in general, I still have spot here, and I would like to just do something that I didn't catch, maybe something that I'm not aware. Just say, just in case something I didn't include, but I want to acknowledge, to thank, and let it go. So if you have all this, like I have a few experiences that, well, 3, 4, not more than 4 probably. Let's think how we can deal with them. Like I will deal the first one with the one that really troubled me. And as usually, you know, NeuroGraphica will use like emotional outbursts, what we call a catharsis, to release it. So that's, if you're watching this video the first time, just make a movement with your hand, like unconscious, dribble, and gather your energy and express it here within this area. This is this area that part of my experience. Okay, so that was my experience. And I will deal with it right away. If you have something like this, I will draw the lines and I remove this tension right away. And where I'll take it, I will take this energy and I move it toward this that circle that my full moon. I will move this energy towards it because I want to use. There's so much energy. I don't want to waste it. So I just draw the neurographic lines, the lines that do not repeat themselves. They have no pattern. If you're not familiar with the definition of neurographic line, please have some other videos. I will probably draw these lines from the space outside the figure. Okay, so I will use this just to draw neurographic lines from outside, and I gather this energy. And part of it, I'll just maybe take it somewhere else, depending on the lines. So I want to use this experience, and I want to nourish this area. The one that's indicated as my full moon, the one I will use this energy in the future months. I want to get the benefits, the fruit of this experience. As you know, I will deal with those uncomfortable situations. We just round the corners. Round the corners. Firstly, we'll indicate the connection in the NeuroGraphica. While we're around the corners, we connect those lines, and every line is a simple thought, most likely in a subconscious mind, something we're not aware of. And secondly, we change the energy, this sharp energy, that challenging energy that symbolize the corners into positive, all round. It's called the element of rounding. So we convert this energy, sharpness, indicated by sharpness, into acceptance. We acknowledge with our experience. We thank that happened. even if it was painful at the moment. But we learned, when we thank them for our learning experience. I would probably add more lines, but for now that I dealt with this, the catharsis, this emotional outburst. My next drawing, as I said, that's experience one, that was a challenging experience. This one less emotional. It was something I wanted it to be better, but it was a good experience. It was okay. So I don't need to use this catharsis and process it so much. All I need is just to draw the line through it. Just take this energy from that experience, because as a result, it didn't leave any negative feelings. It was neutral. But I still have some energy, maybe not. And I will just simply draw the lines from it, gathering this energy, and again, moving it, directing it towards my the full moon, the symbol of the full moon, the energy that I would like to use. The next one is probably saying that element is my identity that I would like to acknowledge and thank it and part with it. It served me very, very much, but I can't move with it right now. In direction where I want to move, I cannot. So what? I don't want to have a catharsis. I'm just thinking how I would like to. I think I'm going to transform it into a different figure. The egg. Here's a nice shape, and I will just convert this shape at the beginning of something. So whatever figure that didn't look like something became an egg, a symbol of a new beginning. And the rest, all these lines, I just take them outside, maybe from just give the energy. And again, I can work on the corners. To soften my experience. Not my experience, a perception of my experience. And the final, this is another one figure. I don't know what it is. And also has a circle, and I will just make a circle out of it. Maybe this is the beginning of something that I started now, but it hasn't materialized yet, because it like overlaps with the future. I didn't plan make this figure now. It just occurred to me right now. Yes, as we were drawing it. So, and of course, this figure, I would like to diffuse it. So what can I do? I would like to use the lines. Like, for example, I still can convert it to a larger circle, like using this shape. Transform this like a cashew nut shape into something. Overall, it's positive, but I will not. It's not too scratchy, not too. Acknowledge that circle. There was something that I learned a lot. As a result, it put me in a very interesting direction. So I will thank this experience. So my goal is to visually to distract my attention from those figures that were previously. So that's my drawing, to diffuse them, what we call in NeuroGraphica, to diffuse them in the field. I think I'm going to deal with this egg something in the later, because I will, before I continue with anything else, I will round the corners in my experience here. And I may just like add additional lines. Either to convert different figures, or if it's possible, to diffuse using the lines. To create a different impression. I wonder if I use this circle, where it will take me. Interesting. So that's possible. That's a very good circle. So I would like to use it, but I do not know how the size of it yet. Probably to measure. Okay, no. Okay. Yes. So that's why I found a solution. I will just convert this circle a different experience. Then the remaining lines. So my drawing is a little bit larger than the screen. Yeah, my idea now with this drawing, as you notice, I've pulled all my energy into this the full moon. The idea, the symbol of the full moon. All this owner's energy going here. How I would like to shape my experience before beginning anything new. I want to gather this energy, this emotionally charged time of the full moon, especially the harvest moon. I will use the question. One of my lines crosses the moon. Yeah, yes, it's okay. Like my line is also crossed. What I will probably use a symbol that I will position in this full moon, the circle that and use the lines. Like for example, I like sacred geometry. So I will use probably one of the symbols of sacred geometry that I will draw here, and I will draw the lines. Yeah. And I will use a compass and a ruler to make it a good drawing, sacred geometry. Probably I will use this two as well. And these lines will be part of this drawing. For example, what I mean, I do not want to draw right now in this area, but I will show on a separate paper. If this was the circle, and I use for the full moon, so your options, you can either draw neurographic lines that you feel comfortable representing them as your full moon, the one that gathers energy. Since it's not strict NeuroGraphica, you're welcome to use an image. You can add an image, or you can draw a picture, as anything that will make you feel inspired. And this energy, like for example, if I decide that I will one image that I'm going to use, and that will be one of the flower. Like I will use a different one. This is just an example. For example, if I decided this geometric flower to represent my future development, something I'm getting energy for later. So that's what I'm getting energy. So all these lines, you see, where are they combined? I will add them to empower this image. It's a little bit more complicated. So that's why if you line the crosses, it's fine. You can always include it in your image. Now I will use this energy the one that's from my experiences to support my future development. So my intention. I might use a similar idea here. Include either images or sacred geometry drawings. So I may include image here, the one that I'm, maybe my photograph that I'm honoring and saying farewell to that image, how I used to be, and maybe this one I may include another sacred geometry drawing. That's what I'm thinking for now. Again, it's one of the drawings that require a little bit more thinking. Those who will watch this video in the recorded, I will finish my drawing today and I will include it into the edited video. So you will be able to see the final result. And of course, if you know about NeuroGraphica, you're welcome to include the field lines, the lines that align your own efforts with the movement on the universal field lines, the power lines. It both includes surrendering and aligning ourselves. Aligning ourselves, like you have to understand that the universe works at the act or the path of least resistance. So when you try to manifest something and think about it, please, that the universe will do it in the energetically cheapest way for it possible. So be careful what you wish for, or what are you thinking. So, well, in future courses and free tutorials, of course, we will talk much more about energy and how it affects what we manifest, fortunately or unfortunately. In terms of colors, what I'm thinking when I decide the final drawing, I will probably add, maybe we'll work with blue colors around. It's understandable why various shades of blue and dark blue especially. And night, sky, full moon. I want it to be like a very powerful element to create a contrast between the past and future, which will be represented by the full moon. So the sky and also blue, letting these past experiences disintegrate in this memory. So and the only way to think about it, just stop. The way to treat them, to stop thinking about them, to stop, nourish them with energy, our energy. And eventually they will disappear. Like, for example, how we make them disappear is an analogy with a online algorithm, how it works. Just put a sign that I don't want any option on YouTube. I don't want any information to appear from this particular training program. I just showed on the option, not interested. And eventually will stop appearing at it. Not to feed my mind with these reminders. Just draw the line. Let's see if I can break it into something friendly. So this drawing requires some thinking. It's not just the artwork. It could be, but it's an important drawing, and I can truly believe if you take it seriously, you can get a very good results and processing our past experiences. So we're almost at the end of the class. And so that was our beginning of this drawing of the harvest moon and how we can use energy from our past experiences, how to process them and to use them in the future. You're welcome to share your drawings in our group. I will be very interested to see your result, especially if we didn't finish the drawing and you left on your own to think about and to create your own experience. So, and if you need some ideas about sacred geometry, you're welcome to see online. That's plenty of information, or you can create your image. And I suggest being more creative and find something that you can relate to emotionally, like your emotions. With this, I wish you a very nice day, a happy drawing, and I look forward to seeing in our next free class those who join. Thank you very much, and good luck.